also as a project manager and a director for a not-for-profit disability sport organisation. Now she's leading the way in turning attitudes into action. Please make welcome the Minister for Women and the Minister for Prevention of Family Violence and Youth Affairs, the Hon Gabrielle Williams.
Thank you very much, Tracy. You were a voice in the background of my and the backdrop of my life as a child and in my household, as you were for so many others, and it's wonderful to see you taking on all the additional roles that you have and being such a leader and a champion in a field that's quite difficult for women, as we've come to learn more about in recent years. But you deserve an enormous amount of respect and admiration for the work that you're doing, so thank you. But before I begin, please let me acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Wurundjeri people, and pay my respects to their elders, both past and present, and any other elders we may have here with us today. Also a special thank you to Uncle Bill Nicholson. He also always gives such wonderful and informative welcome to countries, and I've had the great pleasure of being able to see him a number of times, and every time he manages to add something a little bit different or a little bit extra, I think, which is a testament to his knowledge but also his passion, and we all have so much to learn from our Indigenous elders. I also want to acknowledge a number of special guests we have here today, and we've heard about a few of them, and I can't name you all because this room is just filled with so many important leaders, so apologies if I don't name you. But of course, Kate Jenkins, the Sex Discrimination Commissioner at the Human Rights Commission, and someone, as we've just heard, is doing a huge body of work at the moment and such important work to further this discussion, part of which we're having here today. Also, Violetta Politoff from ANROS. I know we've got Paddy Kinnersley from Our Watch. Event organisers, Vic Health and Respect Victoria, and I know we have Dr Lynn Roberts, Acting CEO of Vic Health here, as well as Tracy Gaudry and Melanie Eagle and their teams from Respect Victoria, who have already hit the ground running since their creation, and I know I've been very busily trying to do some and lead some really important prevention work here in Victoria, and the latest phase of which has hit TV screens in recent weeks, and hopefully many of you, if not all of you, have seen that latest ad in the Respect Victoria Call It Out campaign. And I know that we also have here collectively representatives from the public sector, from the emergency services, from local government, sport, health services, and of course key parts of the gender equality and prevention sector. So thank you all for being here and for being such active participants and having such interest and enthusiasm in the topic that we're here to discuss throughout the course of today. It's really great to see such a diverse group, so many organisations across such a breadth of services and of community life, essentially. This is exactly where these conversations need to be happening. It's exactly where we can inspire change in the broader community. We know that preventing violence against women is everybody's business, and I think that's demonstrated in the collective that we have here today. And I know that you already do so much in your day-to-day roles to prevent family violence or all form of violence against women and to promote gender equality. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have a very firm interest in that. But our work won't be done until every woman feels safe in her community or on the sporting field, in her home, on the streets, and of course in the workplace, where we tend to spend most of our time. That's why we're here, to talk about gender equality in the workplace. Because gender equality is and needs to be more than just an academic concept. It needs to be brought into the realm or the understanding of real-world outcomes, real outcomes for women in our community, whether that be the realities of financial disadvantage that we know impact on women through the gender pay gap and other related issues, or, of course, the fact that women are still disproportionately impacted by violence and by sexual harassment. That's why I'm really proud to be able to be here today to address you all and be a part of today's forum, but also to be launching the Workplace Equality and Respect program, components of which have been around for quite a while now, but we haven't yet got to formally acknowledging them, to formally, sort of waving the flag and saying, that this work is being done, that it's really important, that it's valuable and valued. Now, this work is the result of years of work by many of you here today. But I also think it's worth reflecting sometimes on and remembering that we all stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. And so it's a nice opportunity, I think, to also acknowledge the work of those that have allowed us to be here today, having this conversation and certainly having this conversation with the numbers that we have participating. These are the work of women who would not accept those comments in the lunchroom, the expectation that they'd get the coffee, the inappropriate questions about their personal lives, and all too often the serious and unspoken harassment and assault that we know happens all too often. Do you know more than 60% of women experience some form of violence at work, and 75% of women report experiencing unwelcome and unwanted sexual behaviour at work? 75%. It's remarkable. We know that we can create respectful and equal workplaces. We know that this is a problem that can be fixed. Workplaces where women not only feel safe, but they feel empowered, that they feel free to be able to achieve, that they feel they can grow and contribute and fulfil the roles that they should be fulfilling, and do all of that free from harassment, free from violence. To do that, though, we need programs like these. We need programs that equip workplaces with the tools necessary to create gender equitable structures, as well as those gender equitable norms and practices that we know are so important. That's how we'll change those statistics. It's through conversations like this. It's through embedding better practice. It's about making sure that conversations around gender equality aren't dismissed as they so often are, as just a feminist rant. You know, we really have to move things into the frame of being about real outcomes. And I was commenting earlier in my socialising before coming up here that the Royal Commission into Family Violence actually allowed us to change the conversation around gender inequality. It allowed us to link it to real world outcomes for women. We weren't just talking about gender equality for the sake of it. We were talking about gender equality because it had a meaningful impact in the lives of women. It might mean that women aren't being killed at the rates that they're being killed. It might mean that, it will mean, that women aren't being harassed the way that we are so frequently being harassed. It will mean that women aren't so financially disadvantaged in retirement as they are. Once you start linking this to real world issues, I think it touches people's hearts in a different way. They start to see that it is such a worthwhile conversation, and one that we are not just would be nice to have, but one that has to be had, one that needs to be had. So I want to thank all of you here today, and the many of you who have contributed to this incredible body of work that has already taken place. Work that I know often feels endless and thankless, and I know that there'll be many in this room that were doing this work and having these discussions at a time when it wasn't so socially acceptable to be doing it. We sometimes need to reflect, I think, on the fact that there have been champions of change in every generation, and some of them have had to do it in the most difficult of circumstances. I'm really grateful personally to be able to be a Minister for Women at a time where there are so many great, strong female voices out there leading this discussion, where it can actually hit mainstream media, where it can actually get mainstream attention. It's not always just at the fringes anymore. We've got a fight to keep it there, I should add. We have a fight to make sure it stays as a mainstream issue, because if we start losing that battle, we start losing the battle as a whole. So we have many to thank for making sure that it's kept front and centre, and that it continues to be front and centre until I'm not standing I, or whoever is fulfilling my role or similar roles isn't standing here talking about the sorts of statistics that I just went through. If just one more woman feels safe, equal and respected in her workplace, then you should all feel comfortable that you've achieved something. But our work won't actually be complete until every woman is safe, equal and respected in her workplace. And that is our ultimate goal. We won't stop until we achieve that goal. And of course, we need all of you to help us in achieving that goal and spread that message throughout our community. So thank you for allowing me to be here today. Thank you for the work that you're doing, and perhaps most importantly, thank you for the work that you'll continue to do and the continuing addition to that work. The way that evolves will no doubt add workload for many, but I think it will be so valuable, so important, and we owe you great thanks for joining with us to be a part of this movement and this story for change. Thank you.